Hello and welcome to the Tatiana Show. It's a very special beauty edition, and I'm here today with my good friend, Callie Ulbricht. Callie, welcome to the show today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You look very pretty. I didn't even notice your hair looked good.
Thanks.
We have a couple different things planned for you today. Men, do not tune out. We have Lyn Ulbricht coming up to talk about Ross Ulbricht. But I think that what we're going to be talking about, even though it's traditionally a woman's thing, is also something that men can learn about, because you guys need to start getting women more presents if you would like them to be less cranky. On occasion, if you mess up, you could be like, oh, well, I don't know. I always find that guys, they don't do the simple things like flowers or something.
Depends on the guy.
I think that's true as well. But in case you guys are wondering, you know, holidays are coming up. You should be paying attention because, all right, basically, you know, Callie started working with a company called Beautycounter, and she was telling me all about their makeup, and I thought, oh, whatever, you know. But the thing that did stick out to me was the toxicity of a lot of our makeup today. And before we get into that, I just wanted to kind of finish the story. The real reason why I got interested in Beautycounter, though, was when we were at PorkFest, I was across the room and I saw Callie, and I was like, what are you putting on your face? Because she was
literally, she said it like that.
Yeah, no, I was like, what the hell is going on? And I went over there and she's like, oh, it's my Beautycounter, which she'd been telling me about for a while. And so from that point on, you know, I was like, oh, well, and then I looked stunningly gorgeous. I'm wearing all Beautycounter right now, even more gorgeous than usual. And it really was quite remarkable. There's this really nice finish, and it made me feel really confident. And then there were a lot of other benefits. So, I mean, I don't know if you guys can see this, but hold on. See that? Look at that gorgeous face. Because of the makeup. Oh, don't look at the mess in the background. Oh, geez. Yeah, we don't necessarily want them to see my hoarding. But anyway, so Callie, aside from making us beautiful, tell me, like, what made you get interested in Beautycounter? Because that wasn't your background. You weren't in the beauty industry. You were doing advertising, marketing, different things. So yeah, give our guests a little bit of an overview about what made you so interested in this.
Yeah. Well, I guess the big draw for me is Beautycounter isn't just a counter of beauty products. It's actually countering this $62 billion industry. And it's not just makeup, it's also skincare as well. So guys, you probably use a little bit of skincare, you know, even the basics as a bar of soap, which we can provide that as well. And one thing that really stood out to me is basically, we try to educate. The company leads with education first, because I think, at least I thought myself a very healthy person. I work out, I try to eat organic, I try to keep my body in the best health as possible, but I never once thought about what I put on my skin and how that actually affects my body internally, and all the chemicals that we're all just exposed to constantly every single day. So Beautycounter, we really educate, and then we provide a solution through the product. So there's, at least for me as a girl, I want to use the healthiest, safest products, but I also want them to work and I want to like them. So Beautycounter found this niche where we have some of the safest products on the market, but they're also high performing and high and luxurious products, so they work really well. So what that looks like is there's about 80,000 harmful chemicals in consumer goods. And I'm not talking, water is obviously a chemical. I'm not talking about chemicals in general. I'm talking about harmful chemicals. So there's about 80,000, and 80% of those have not been tested for human safety. So in a way, these products are kind of, we're almost like the lab experiment. What happens when humans continually put harmful chemicals on their bodies? And what is happening is, you know, 40 years ago, 1 in 20 women had breast cancer. Now it's 1 in 8. There's a very high jump in infertility. There's a lot of just carcinogens in these products that we're not aware of. And another big reason why I joined is I wanted to educate and make it easier for my friends and family to buy safer products. So to give you an idea, the last referendum for this was 1938. The San Francisco Bridge was built in 1939. So a lot of products that, there's a term called greenwashing, and what that means is products can say they're all natural and all organic, and legally they don't have to be at all. So one thing that I've found that really helps, and actually I just took a shower in Tatiana's bathroom, and I can't help myself now. I'm looking at that product and that product and that product, and I'm like, oh, these aren't good. And Tatiana's a very healthy person. You try
not that healthy. I try, but there's a lot of cheeseburgers going on.
She also has magic mud in there. We're not talking about food.
Oh, sorry.
Products. She has some healthy products in there too. So one thing that I really highly recommend, it's a third party separate to Beautycounter, it's called the Healthy Living app. It's a green square with like an E in the middle. And what you can do is you can scan your products, or you can actually manually put them in. So maybe the next time you're at the grocery store and you're like, oh, I wonder how safe this product is for me. You can scan it at the store, and it'll come up with allergen, cancerous, carcinogens. It'll tell you why and what ingredients. Now, some of the ones that I was concerned about with Tatiana's shower, all of them came up. The ratings are from 1 to 10. 1 is the safest and 10 is the worst. So Tatiana's ranged between 3 and 5, which isn't like, oh my God, let's throw this away immediately. But the reason most of them came up was fragrance. And fragrance is in a lot of stuff. And it's proprietary, which means that legally they don't have to tell you what's in their ingredients for fragrance. And the scary part about fragrance is phthalates, which are an endocrine disruptor, which basically mimics your own hormones. And that's what is linked back to a lot of the cancer. So I highly recommend you downloading the EWG Healthy Living app. Start scanning the products that you have in your bathroom. Start scanning when you go to the grocery store. And it's just making an educated choice. You don't have to go and throw out everything all at once. Use up what you have, and then just next time you're gonna make a decision, what we buy says a statement to these companies. And if we're demanding safer products, better products for us, then they'll start producing that. So even they're taking tests from umbilical cords of unborn babies, and an unborn child on average has about 270 harmful chemicals in their bodies, and they're not even out in the world yet. So these chemicals are seeping into our skin. It takes about 26 seconds for it to get into your bloodstream. So, you know, shampoo, conditioner, you think, oh, I put it on for 2 seconds and then it's off. It actually is already into your bloodstream. So small changes, small steps can have a big impact. And essentially, Beautycounter just wants to provide a better solution for safer products.
Well, I'm like all afraid of all the things. Yeah, because I mean, I don't want to throw away my things right now.
Well, yeah, and I don't think you should be wasteful. And look, I mean, there's certain things that people are like, I can't live without blank. Fine, you don't have to, but just know that you're making a choice and scan it and see. The app only has about 70,000 products in it at the moment. They're growing. I'd say in the last 2 months, they've added about 10,000 more products. So if it's not on there, just keep checking back, or you know, do a little research into it. Try to have a look at the ingredients, but I know sometimes that can be like, I have no idea what any of this means. So we're trying to just make it easier for people to choose safer.
Well, I have been really pleased with what I did get. You know, at first I was like, oh, I don't know. And then next thing you know, there was a significant investment, let's just put it that way, into some makeup products. And now I'm kind of addicted, but, why? I don't know. I mean, there are different things that I like better than others, but I've been really, really pleased. Do you want to talk about some of the stuff that I like and that you like as well, just to give people some suggestions? Again, you don't have to get it all at once or whatever. These are just products that I and Callie are using. But apparently the line is quite popular. I mean, everybody that I've been talking to, like, I've been bringing it up with other friends because I feel like it's really noticeable. I go out of the house, I feel, I don't know. I mean, makeup is sort of one of those BS things, right? It's like, it kind of just fools you into kind of feeling better about yourself. But I think that there's something to be said for that. You know what I mean? Like, it's like wearing sexy underwear and like nobody's going to see it, but you're like strutting. You're like, oh yeah. But I mean, I've been getting a lot of compliments too. So the things that I really like are the lip sheers, which I don't know if you guys can see. This is just
it's actually wearing
a lip gloss, and it's like a sheer.
Yeah.
Kind of color.
Yes.
It has pigment.
It has pigment. It's a lot of the long-lasting lipsticks are full of really harmful chemicals. That's what helps them stay on your skin, which I know is very convenient. What I've been learning the most of is convenience has been trumping a lot of safety factors in our environment, including plastic. That's a whole nother discussion. But look, it's not long lasting, but it has a jojoba ester in it that actually helps to lock in the moisture and naturally exfoliates the dead skin off of your lips. You can also use it on your lips and your cheeks as well. So a lot of Beautycounter products you can use multifaceted. So this is the color that Tatiana's wearing, which is the rose. I'm actually wearing it as well. And look at the difference between the skin types. So you can, I actually put another color on top too. So you can layer a lot of this as well, but this feels very smooth and luxurious.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Just as a side note, so when I first tried the lipsticks, I thought that they were gonna be a little bit too sheer, but they're very flattering. And I also thought that they wouldn't last a long time because they're so kind of, they feel like you're putting on like a really luxurious lip balm almost. Yeah. They don't feel as much like lipstick. I don't know. They're my favorite lipstick I think I've ever tried, which is quite a statement. Yeah. Because I like makeup products and stuff like that. But I did notice that it lasted a lot longer than I thought that it would.
You can also, if you have the time and want to put in the energy, you can do one layer, put a bit of powder, and then do another layer, and that helps it stay on longer. I never do that because I just...
Yeah, seems like a lot of work.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any lip stains coming out? What do you think of lip stains? You know, like the ones that sort of stain your lips and they last longer? You think that's the same thing?
Well, yeah.
Long-lasting stuff.
I don't know of any long-lasting that's coming out, and primarily the long-lasting is generally high in chemicals. So
okay, thumbs down on the chemicals. Okay, cool. Another one that I like, I feel like I'm jumping ahead, but okay. I really like this hibiscus color pinch.
It's a cream blush. Yeah. So it's what we're
like
both
a little bit
as well.
Goes a long way, I think.
Yeah, a little bit goes a long way. It's a nice little summer fresh look. The big thing I've never used cream blush before, and I wasn't really into it, but now that I've tried it, I literally wear it every day and I can't live without it. This also has a jojoba ester in it, so it's that moisture locking in and the exfoliation, and you can use it for your lips too. So it's almost like a big lip sheer in that way, but it's a thicker, it has more context to it. And the other thing is you need to use a blush brush. When you put it on, you can move it in with your hands, but it's not as seamless. If you use a brush, it's a lot more seamless.
Oh, so really? I've been using my fingers.
Yeah, I think Tatiana and I are going to go through her regimen, and I'm going to add a little stuff to her just to finesse it a little bit more. But this is a great product. It also comes in 2 other colors. It comes in a caramel, which I use more for contouring. And then it comes in a much darker maroon shade, which any skin color can use, but I think it's made for darker skin color.
What about the foundation? Because foundation for me, like I have pretty good skin, but I do like a little bit more coverage. So when we were at Pork Fest, when we went and basically had like a girls' afternoon, Ellen Ball, also, if you saw her on Saturday, you were like, Ellen's looking fierce. That's because she was wearing makeup, not because of her own beauty. But anyway, no, Callie like basically did makeovers on us, and my makeup was a lot heavier though, and it still looked really good on the stage.
Yeah.
Well, that was good because sometimes I felt like I've gotten the eyeshadows, which I really like, but they're a little bit light colored. So I've basically been learning techniques to make it a little bit heavier, because sometimes, you know, I'll use even like a MAC makeup because they're really high in pigment.
Sure.
Am I allowed to ask you if MAC is dangerous?
I don't actually know much about MAC.
I gotta find out, because I have some. I like the MAC eyeshadows because they're heavy, but I would think that they're maybe not like the safest. But I don't know. Hopefully they are, because I've got a bunch of them. Anyway, the point is that we layered the eyeshadows to get a heavier color, and that really worked. And then I bought the foundations. So there's 2. So
there's Tint Skin and then there's Dew Skin. Tatiana is only wearing the Tint Skin. I'm wearing both. I'll go through. So the Tint Skin, what's nice about this is it has the hyaluronic acid, which helps with fine lines. It's also a moisture magnet, so it locks moisture into your skin. It comes in several different colors, comes in about 10 different shades. And what's nice about this is you can use it. What I've used on both of us is our retractable brush. So that closes, it makes it really easy. That gives a more fine layer. If you use a flat foundation brush, that'll actually give you more coverage. And the tint skin is made for layering. So you can do one layer, and if you need a little bit more coverage, do another layer, and it's actually meant to be layered on. The Dew.
Do you have to wait in between, like layering it on, like 5 seconds or something, let it dry?
I mean, start at the top, you know, basically start in the middle of your face and then fan out, because the middle of your face is generally what needs the most coverage. And then when you're doing the second layer, start in the middle of your face and fan out. And by the time you get around your whole face, I think it's fine. I mean, everyone's going to be different. Every environment's different. So just see how you go.
I don't know. I feel like it's good to get like makeup tips and stuff, because when you do my makeup, I think it looks really different than when I try and do it.
I use brushes, and that's.
I have the fancy brushes.
Well, you're not using them anyway.
That's true.
Okay, so you can have them if you don't use them. It doesn't matter. So the Dew Skin is also a big favorite of mine. The reason I use both in the summer, mainly because it gives me that perfect kind of blend when I have a little more color in the summer. Dew Skin is fantastic as well. This is more like a Laura Mercier BB cream.
It's like every day.
Yeah, every day. It's a little bit of a dewier look, a little fresher look. It's not as much coverage. It does have a protection SPF from UVA and UVB. So UVA is what breaks down your collagen. It gives you age spots. It's basically what ruins our skin from the sun. And UVB is what the dermis sunburn happens. So it protects you against both. It also has blackcurrant, peony root, and vitamin C, which helps to brighten your skin and helps with the fine lines. It also has hyaluronic acid. So they're both really good for fine lines. It just really depends on the biggest difference is, do you want more coverage? Do you want to layer? Do you want to be able to play around with the coverage more? Or do you want a dewier look with SPF built in?
Okay, so about sunscreen. I've heard that sunscreen is actually bad for you a lot of times. Why is that? And should we not be wearing sunscreen in the sun, or should we?
Yeah, it's a really good question. I mean, one easy thing is the aerosol cans are really bad for you. Anything over SPF 50, they've done tests and it only gives you 1% more protection. And generally it has a much higher content of chemicals because of that stronger SPF. So those are two things that no aerosol cans, and then higher than 50, you don't really need. It's increasing the chemicals. The other thing is Oxybenzone, which a lot of, and it says Oxybenzone. So that's, you know, look in the ingredients for Oxybenzone. If it has that, it's really bad for you. Another one is vitamin A, which is like a retinol. Now, retinol is not bad for you, but when combined in sun, it can be cancerous. So using a retinol at night, which helps wrinkles and helps your fine lines, is great, but just don't wear it during the day and in sunscreen. So those are kind of the easier things to look out for. You know, Beautycounter offers several different sun protections. One's an all-over sunscreen, which is like a lotion. One's a face stick, and one's a body stick, and then a lip. And I actually, living in Australia, is some of the most intense sun I ever experienced, and I was quite hesitant to use it because I was like, oh, it's not going to work. I've used US sunscreens in Australia, and they just don't stand up. But it does, because it's made out of non-nano zinc. So it's a primary, it's almost 90% zinc, which is a natural protection. And what's nice is what non-nano means is nanoparticles are so tiny that they get into your bloodstream, which is how the chemicals get into your bloodstream. Non-nano is just a slightly larger particle, so it actually sits on top, which means that it starts working immediately. You don't have to wait 20 minutes for it to start working. You can just put it on, slather it on, and you know you're protected. So we offer that as well. And, sorry, the Oxybenzone is also really bad for oceans and coral reefs. So even if you don't live near the ocean, the water goes into the ocean at some point. So it's also good for that.
Cool. What is this, the concealer?
Yeah, so this is the concealer we're both wearing as well. What I love about this is it has a knot grass root extract in it, and that actually helps with the puffiness and the dark circles. This is great for covering fine lines. It's not a super, super heavy concealer, so if you like something that's heavier, then it's probably not the best fit. But I really like it. It's great for covering up just, you know, under eye circles and some redness. I've dealt with some rosacea before, and it's actually getting a lot better since I've been using Beautycounter.
Well, I'd like to say something about the concealer. So I didn't get the concealer when I first got my bonanza of items because I have 2 or 3 kind of high-end concealers. But I went into the bathroom this morning, and you heard me. I was like, I love this concealer. And it's like, cha-ching, cha-ching. Every time I'm like trying something else, I really like it, which is sort of dangerous. But I like that concealer, and I don't think it's too heavy. And I think it did a nice job of covering any under eye.
One thing I would like to say about Beautycounter products is we don't use fillers, and a lot of companies do use fillers because it makes your product cheaper, it makes it last longer, but you're not actually getting as much of the actual product. So our products tend to last quite a lot longer than I expected, and you need smaller amounts of it too because there are no fillers. So that does help as far as, you know, getting your value.
Why don't we talk a little bit, oh wait, before we move on to the skin stuff, because I think that that's really interesting, because I've been using some of the skin stuff and I like it. I have like 5 powders, but we tried the mattifying powder today. I feel like every time I try something, it's very annoying. But it's like a translucent powder, right?
Yeah, so this is a mattifying powder. It's translucent, it's weightless, it doesn't give you that ghosting look at all.
I get that ghosting look with a lot of mine, and I thought that that was just what I had to put up with now. And now that you mention it, no, I don't get that.
No, you don't get it. What I kind of consider this like my Instagram filter. It, I don't know, it just gives you that final finish that I didn't use it for a long time. And then my other friend said, oh, I want your mattifying powder. I love it. And I was like, oh, really? So now I've been starting to use it and seeing a big difference. So yeah, it's a great product as well. You know, one thing I just want to say is the average woman puts on 10 to 12 products a day. Now you might think, oh, that's really a lot. I don't use any products. But when you think of shampoo, conditioner, body wash, or some sort of soap, sunscreen, foundation, lip gloss, mascara, eyeshadow, you know, the list goes on. So it's an average, but what that equates to is about 500 harmful chemicals every single day that you're putting into your skin, into your body before you leave the house. And that compounds and that adds up. So you don't need to switch out everything, but like I said, it's just educating and making an educated decision the next time you do purchase something new.
Cool. So I get facials a lot. There's this great woman, Olga. If you guys are in New Jersey, I love her. She's in, what is it, Riverdale or something on Kinder K Mac Road. Anyway, Olga's been doing facials for me for a while, and she told me that the Clarisonic brush is a little bit too harsh for skin. I've actually had several facial ladies tell me that, which sometimes I'm like, are they just trying to get me to get more facials? I don't know about that. But Olga's really cool. She's never trying to like make me get a lot of products, but you know, lately she's like, oh, you know, your skin's pretty dry. And I'm like, but I use moisturizer every day. And I've been using pure organic jojoba oil on my skin. And she says that when your skin gets older, not that mine is older, mine is extremely youthful. I'm clearly 21 or 22 years old. Basically moisturizer doesn't get absorbed into your skin. So she told me to get a serum, which was the real thing that I was interested in getting from Beautycounter. So what I've been doing is that I have my own eye cream. Callie really likes the eye cream. But then I use the serum, and you know, and then I let it sit, and then once it dries, then I put a moisturizer over it, and I've noticed a lot more moisture on my skin. Yeah, I think it's been coming out really well. And then I also got the toning pads. I don't know if you guys have. I used to get those Philip Seymour Roth ones, or whatever the hell they're called. I don't know. Thomas Roth. Anyway, I like those too, but these are really cool. They don't burn my skin or anything like that. Sometimes with those toning pads that happens. And Callie had a good treat, because some of these products, I mean, they're not, you know, bargain products or anything. I mean, they're a bargain for what you're getting if you're thinking in terms of quality, but like, I don't know. I'm always really skeptical of something has a high price tag, but she cuts them in half. Yeah. So I think that's pretty neat, and that's a good way to kind of make them last longer. And then the serum, it's only 1 pump on the whole face. Yeah. It would probably be 2 if you want to do your neck. Oh, the facial lady told me, because we had the conversation with me and some friends on Facebook the other day about makeup stuff, is don't forget to do your neck, because your neck is, your décolletage. This is where the decoration is, I guess. Anyway, like make sure that you do those parts, because we forget about that. And then as you get older, those parts are a lot harder. I mean, I don't know. Do they have like skin pulling? I don't know. I'd like some. Anyway. It's making me depressed. Anyway, So is there anything from the skin stuff that we want to talk about before we bring on your mom? Because I think that the skin products are really nice.
I'll just very quickly touch on it. We have a whole rejuvenating line, which this serum she's talking about, it's a fruit acid complex. So it's very active. You can feel it working on your skin. And that's what we consider our anti-aging line. The serum that Tatiana is talking about, serums are generally more activated to a certain treatment. So ours is a higher concentrate of active ingredients that basically combat fine lines and aging. We also have a nourishing line that's basically men and women can use it. It's a very light, it has organic coconut oil and aloe vera base. So really it's kind of one of those neutral lines that if you aren't trying to fight anti-aging, you can use it on a daily basis, and it's very nourishing for your skin. And if anyone has questions, I can always go through every, more in detail. But one thing I did want to mention for guys out there that guys love is our activated charcoal bar. It's a lower price point, so it's good for girls too, but guys in particular really love it. I think it's because it's a black bar of soap. So
for all the anarchists out there.
Yeah. So a lot of our products are unscented. If there is a scent, it's only from essential oils. The black bar is not from any synthetic colors or fragrance. It's all from the activated charcoal that we actually get from Japan. It also has hazel witch in it, witch hazel, sorry, and green tea as well. So this bar is awesome. I use it on my face and body. I just keep it in the shower. Really helps with acne, clogged pores, but it also helps. What happens is the activated charcoal gets all of your impurities out of your skin, and then the witch hazel and the green tea adds in antioxidants, but it also has an organic coconut base, so it doesn't dry your skin like a lot of soaps do. A lot of soaps are full of synthetics as well. So anyway, guys out there, if you want to try any Beautycounter products from Tatiana, I think you would love the activated charcoal soap.
Great. So we're going to leave the link to Beautycounter /Tatiana Rose or .com, blah, blah. But anyway, if you guys, what do you think, if guys want to get their girlfriend something, what do you think that they should do?
I think you can't go wrong with any of the makeup. And, if you want some help with that, Tatiana and I can take a look at a picture of your girlfriend and have a look at her skin tone and offer some. The great thing about Beautycounter is no matter if you get something, regardless if you don't like it or if it's the wrong color, we have a 60-day, literally no questions asked return policy.
And you could use it like
you
don't
could use it for 60 days and there's nothing left in the bottle and decide, you know what, I don't like this, and we'll take it back. So you really can't go wrong with any product. But I think, guys, if you want to do something really nice for your girlfriend and, get those brownie points in there, makeup, you can't go wrong. So we can help you with that.
Yeah. Wait, okay, so these are my top 5s. The lip sheers, the lip gloss. Okay, so lip gloss is like normally a very annoying product because like if you have long hair, it's like, oh, and nobody likes that. It's terrible. But the lip gloss is amazing. It's so nice.
Non-sticky.
Yeah, and that's really annoying when it's sticky like that. I like the cheek thing.
The cream blush.
I like, that too. Yeah, the cream blush, the serum for the face, and then what's my final one? I feel like I don't want to choose between them all, but there was something that, we didn't talk about the cleansing balm. It's like this big jar, and you use like half of a pea size, and you rub it into your wet skin, and then you use this muslin cloth, and then you go like that, and then you kind of like get it off, and it feels a little bit almost like, I don't know if ladies, you've ever used like an oil cleansing, but when you use an oil to cleanse your face, afterward your skin feels really soft. It's sort of like that, but a little bit more luxurious feeling. Yeah. So actually, it's grown on me.
I love the cleansing balm, and it lasts forever. It's great for traveling too, and it has pomegranate seed and vitamin C that helps to brighten your skin and get rid of age spots as well.
But you're gonna want to still use an eye makeup remover. We have one coming out. What's up with eye makeup removers? Are they kind of toxic in general?
Yeah, they're very toxic, and especially they're obviously going into your eyes. They're so close to your eyes. So we're actually launching an eye makeup remover. We're launching hair care. We're launching new mascara. We're launching
mascara I'm holding out for.
We're launching a men's line at the end of this year. So we have a lot coming out. So
All right, good. All right, I like this. This is very educational.
Good.
I feel like it was like
I
very
hope
good.
you guys enjoyed it. And men, we will help you. So just give us a shout out.
Shoot us a message. My email is info@tatianamoroz.com or tatiana@cryptomediahub.com. Where can people reach you, Kelly?
You can reach me at contact@hellovitalliving.com.
So we have another convert into the cult of Beautycounter that's going to be joining us today, and that's your mom.
Yay!
We're very excited to see her. She
looks.
does look quite beautiful, except we can't hear her because she's on mute.
Okay,
Now she's not. Okay, good. Hey, Lynn, how's it going?
Okay. Hanging in there day by day. That's how.
Well, we're going to be talking about some depressing topics, or some, I mean, that's frankly what they are. But before we do, I wanted to say that Lynn has been using the makeup, and I mean, stepping up the beauty game. I like it. We're just going to walk into Vegas next week for Freedom Fest. If you're going to, who are those movie stars? Like, hello, everyone. Speaking of which, me and Lynn are going to be at Freedom Fest. So if anybody wants to jump on a plane to Vegas, you can get $100 off of your ticket with coupon code Tatiana. But Lynn, how are you feeling today? There's been a lot of shakeups. For those of you that don't know, also Callie is Ross's sister and Lynn's daughter. So we wanted to kind of get you a little bit of an update about what's been going on with Ross, because he's been moved and there's a lot of moving parts. So Lynn, maybe you could give us a little bit of an overview.
Yeah, Ross was transferred out of MCC, Metropolitan Correction Center in New York City, about a week and a half ago, and sent to Oklahoma, which is a big, huge, I call it a processing plant, but basically transfer center where people in transition in the prison system go first before they are sent to the prisons. So he was there, and then we just found out only by looking at on the internet that he was moved yesterday, that he got to Florence, Colorado, to the high security prison yesterday. I haven't heard from him. I'm kind of concerned. I'd like to hear from him and that he's okay. I've heard mixed things about this place. I mean, it's a high security place, so it's got a lot of violent people, and Ross is not violent, and he's also high profile, and I'm afraid that he might stand out, you know, and so at our end, we've been doing everything we can to try to mitigate this, to try to see what can be done, and basically at this point in time, there's nothing that can be done. There's a security classification thing that each prisoner has. Ross is, even if you add in the maximum for his charges, is rated for a medium security because he's totally peaceful, no priors, none of the things that they have on there except his charges. But because of the sentence, this barbaric sentence that was given for all nonviolent charges, because it's over 30 years, he automatically has to go into a maximum, even though he's peaceful and no one was harmed by him, certainly not directly. And, he's not a danger to anyone. So this, and the designation people who decide where people go have the power to waive this, and they didn't. So, and partly they said or they told this lawyer that they talked to, because of the high profile nature of his case. And I'm like, so once again, it seems that Ross is being punished because the media chooses to write about him, and that should not be a factor. I don't see how, whether you're high profile or not, should take away your rights or your, things other people can do. And so that's a whole issue in itself. But anyway, that's where it is. And I just hope that everyone will, keep Ross in their thoughts and prayers, because high security prisons are dangerous places.
First of all, I'm very, very sorry. I was very concerned when they moved Ross as well. And I think part of what made it so jarring, and also part of why I wanted to sort of talk about this, is, you know, people have such a myopic view of what's going on with the prison system in general. But you guys went to the prison. Callie was supposed to get a longer visit.
To get a 2-hour visit because my dad and I are coming from out of town, and yeah, we showed up, and the really nice guy actually who runs the visiting sometimes just came out with our IDs, and he's like, he's not here, and we're like, do you know where he is? And he's like, I don't know, but he's not here. And that's a really horrible feeling, to not know where your brother is and not have any control. Like, they can literally take him anytime and place him anywhere they want, and we can't really do much about it. And you know, my mom is working nonstop to try to change this as much as possible, but it's really scary when you literally have no control.
Yeah, the Bureau of Prisons, it does not answer to judges, or the only people who they have to answer to is the Attorney General and the President of the United States. And otherwise, they are an entity in themselves. And so, you know, they're the ones that will decide the fate of these various people. And so that's what's the story. That's the story. You completely lose any rights that you have when you're in prison. You just do. And so, yeah. And it's very concerning, because there's a lot of nonviolent people who are thrown into these a lot of drug offenders are being thrown into these high security places with people who are in there for violence and gangs and all of that. And in fact, it's over 60% of our prisons are full of nonviolent drug offenders. So the drug war is fueling this, and it's really horrendous. And when I looked at the building where Ross is going, it is enormous. It's just one of 3 that are there, because the Supermax is there, the high security and the medium. Enormous building. The amount of money to build these prisons, to staff these prisons, to clean them, to run them, there's whole towns that are supported by this industry. And the product is human beings. And so there's every incentive to keep the drug war going, to keep the prisons full. And it's just horrifying. You know, before Ross was arrested, I didn't really think about it that much. You know, and now when you see it yourself, it's just really comes home that this really needs to be reformed. This is a problem. Nonviolent people who are not a threat to anyone do not need to be caged in these massive places, just warehoused. It's horrible.
Mom, what is the team called that decides the hotel team?
Oh, no, it's the hotel team decides where you go.
It's literally, that's what they're called, is the hotel team. That's like almost how it's such a
that is the official name. No, that's the official name of the team that decides where you're designated. I'm like, you can't make this stuff up. I mean, the worst hotel, most evil hotel in existence, I don't know. And the most expensive, by the way. The amount that it costs to house them, the cost the taxpayers, is atrocious.
Well, that was going to be my question. Do you know how much it costs on average to keep a person in prison? Do you guys know the statistic?
You know, I should know it right off the bat. It's a lot. It's multi.
I've heard around 200,000 a year, but I don't know if that's
correct. I don't know if it's quite. I'm not sure about that. I can't tell you. I don't want to quote something I'm not positive about.
Sorry,
thousands of dollars a year, and it adds up to. I mean, the drug war has been, you know.
Well, there's 2.2 million people in prison, so even if it's $1,000 a year, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, it's a lot more than that. Yeah,
it's a lot more than that. So,
I mean, Neil Franklin said that if Ross were in there for 50 years, God forbid, it would be just for him $2.5 million, I believe, just for him to supposedly keep us safe from Ross. Like, Ross is a threat to anyone, and you can multiply that, and so then it starts really getting into the bill of over $1 billion. I mean, you know, the drug war. With
just
the drug war.
the cost of it alone, though, is just, I mean, even if you're unsympathetic and you think, oh, the druggies, whatever, it's just impractical for a country that has such a deficit. And it's so horrifying because, I don't know, it's basically slavery. And I don't really see the difference. There's a lot of different, you know, I mean, it's a war targeted against the poor a lot of times. It's sometimes, you know, racially biased, of course, but I don't know. I mean, I just think that there should be some sort of civility, and it reflects poorly on a society if this is how we treat people. I mean, it's a farm. It's very, I don't know how to shake it up, though, because there's so much money behind. I mean, all you can really do is educate more people and rally behind a lot of these great organizations that are sort of working for criminal justice reform and for reform of the drug policies. I mean, the drug war needs to be ended. But it's just wild that, and then you hear about all these molesters and stuff that get out. I mean, Bill Cosby was giving women Quaaludes and stuff, and all these women came forward and they're like, oh, no, mistrial, bye-bye. I mean, meanwhile, Ross's trial was rife with corruption. They didn't let, you guys weren't allowed to mention anything about the corrupt agents. Since then, there's been a lot of other corruption. For people who are new to the show, can you really quickly just give a quick overview of some of the corruption that went on with the trial itself? Because I think it's really startling. I mean, I watched, you know, Ally McBeal and different, you know, lawyer shows. I know Ally McBeal isn't a serious show, but I think that's part of the insidious nature of the propaganda around what happens in a prison, right? You look at a judge show and you think, oh, justice is served and there's a corrupt guy and it's out of here. But can you talk a little bit about the trial and some of the larger issues at play that might lend some questions to whether or not Ross should be in prison in the first place?
Yeah, I just want to make a couple comments on some of the things we just talked about. You know, I've talked to Ross about it, and he said, you know, it's kind of old-fashioned to still be warehousing people in basically dungeons, and like we've done since, you know, however long. We have technology, and you know, Callie and I and you, Tatiana, have gone into the prison, and we have met the families. We have seen the damage to these children who are their families are crumbling. Yeah. Because their fathers, in the case of Ross's prison, are in there, and mostly nonviolent, often drug crimes. These guys and other nonviolent, especially nonviolent prisoners, could have an ankle bracelet. We have the technology and be home under house arrest, save millions of dollars, and not destroy these families. There's 2.9 million children with incarcerated parents, and statistics show that they will also end up in prison at the typical path because of this destruction of the family. And yet it's fueling a huge money-making industry at the expense of these lives and not stopping people from using drugs at all.
No.
As far as Ross's case, yeah, I mean, I was shocked. I went into this whole thing not particularly a fan of big government, but trusting in the systems to an extent. And then I got to see up close and personal how the government operates, and I was shocked. And our lawyer would go, yeah, that's what they do. Everybody just kind of accepts it, you know, because it's what they do. And they can. They do it because they can. And it's frightening because I believe we're really losing our protections very, very rapidly if we haven't already. In the case of Ross, you asked about the corruption. Yeah, there were 2 corrupt agents who are now in prison. I mean, this is fact, who had the run of the Silk Road. They used it to steal over $1 million. And we don't know what else they did because they had the capability to change passwords, PIN numbers, act as DPR, Dread Pirate Roberts, who's a pseudonym that Ross allegedly used for 3 years, and other aliases. They had the run of the place, and they could impact the evidence that the jury saw that was used against Ross. And yet this was not permitted to be even mentioned to the jury. They had no idea these people existed. And actually one of them, Sean Bridges, who was working for the NSA at the time, the defense didn't even know he existed till after trial. Since then, there's been evidence, or you know, definitely evidence of tampering of the evidence, but it looks like it's another corrupt agent. And that was discovered after trial. So that would take a new trial to bring up. It's the tip of the iceberg. I mean, if we all knew what was going on.
Also, someone logged in as DPR after Ross was arrested.
That's right. That's another.
But see, that's the kind of thing that to me seems like it should be noticed by everybody, right? Like, okay, well, somebody just, okay, take them out. Let's figure it out. I mean, that seems intuitively what would happen, but why doesn't that count? When does that kind of evidence come up, and why isn't that? I mean, I don't mean to put pressure on you guys because you're not attorneys, but I don't understand why, if he's the only DPR and somebody else logged in as him after he's in jail, what's the explanation for that? And why is that not?
Have a new trial, Tatiana. You can't. I mean, the appellate court only deals with how the judge acted in the trial, and they decided she was just fine, even though she did preclude this evidence. She did stop the jury from knowing about it. And many other things like curtailing cross-examination, blocking defense witnesses. But they thought that was just fine, apparently. We will be appealing this to, ask them to please reconsider because of this, and this reasons. And it's not just Ross at stake here. It's like every time there's a case, especially a high-profile case, where these things are allowed, it weakens our protections, and fair trials, or even trials at all, are becoming basically extinct. 97% of people arrested plea. They're pressured to plea, and they're told that if they go to trial, if they lose, which they probably will, that they will suffer worse consequences. So many people plead that aren't even guilty of the thing just because they're afraid, and they're rightly so. They should be afraid. And this is not what our founders had in mind, I would suspect. This is 97% of people plea. That there's no trial by jury now. And certainly it's not a trial by your peers. I mean, that's not, the people on Ross's jury, were 10 of them were over 40. I don't really believe that they understood, any of them really understood Bitcoin, technology. Some of them might have understood technology, but Bitcoin, very few of them understood technology. It's a lot to take in. I'm not blaming them, but it wasn't Ross's peers.
Given the full picture.
No.
Right. And even when they were going to bring in Andreas Antonopoulos, he was going to testify to show that the way that they obtained the evidence was physically impossible, among other things. I think that was sort of his thing, to show that it was not the way that the government said. And the way that the government said that it happened was sort of like, oh, we just found the password. Oh. But, they were actually doing something that may have been unconstitutional in the first place by raiding foreign servers. And there's like questions around how that happened. And that wasn't even able to be explored as far as I understand it.
Well, Andreas was also going to show how the government's last-minute Bitcoin witness, who, by the way, they paid $50,000 to come and appear. Gee, it must be nice to have that kind of money to pay people to come testify. He told me, he was like, it didn't make sense what he said. It's not how Bitcoin works. But how would the jury know that? And the judge is like, oh no, they understand Bitcoin. It's fine. You don't need to bring your witness because the jury understands Bitcoin just fine. And I'm like, really? I mean, I've had people who know a lot about Bitcoin say they don't even understand Bitcoin completely. So, it was just, it really was a travesty. And it continues to be I don't want to call it all a travesty quite yet. We're not done, but it's alarming to me how the judicial system works now. And I think it's very broken in many ways.
Well, I'm really glad that you're able to tell us your story, and thank you very much for both of you for coming on. If people want to learn more, we're going to be at Freedom Fest, like I said, next week in Las Vegas.
Yeah,
check the links below. We've got all sorts of sponsors and stuff like that. But if people want to write Ross a letter, or if they want to help out, like what are ways that people can kind of contribute to help, and maybe some financial, some maybe not, because not everybody has money.
Yeah, I just wanted to also say at Freedom Fest, Tatiana and I, plus Doug Casey, Jeffrey Tucker, Carla Garrick, Jeff Berwick, are all going to be on a panel moderated by Naomi Brockwell, talking about some interesting things. And I'm also going to be on a panel about the criminal justice system. So, and Tatiana's going to be doing a lot more things there too. It's going to be fun. And as far as helping, yeah, go to freeross.org if you're interested, if you want to help. There's all kinds of ways, both financially and also with energy, with just spreading the word, with helping us change the narrative, to calling attention to these matters. It all helps. And so, yeah, please stay in touch and you know, help us. It'll be great because we've got a long fight still. It's a big one. I
agree. And you know what? The government is an endless coffer of money. I mean, they could just hit print. But we do have the power of the people, and that's why it's so important for people to kind of speak out. Ross is only one of many, many, many people that are sitting in prison, millions. The land of the free is the largest place where we have the most prisons. So I don't know, folks. Anyway, thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Thank you to our sponsors, the Bitcoin CPA and Crypto Compare. Shout out to my friends at Sovereign Tech and Sex and Science Hour. Brian just wrote a book. You could pick it up online, Dark Android. It's on Kindle. I think maybe it's on Dark Android. I'm not really sure. But anyway, it's a book about how to be secure. And I'm not that secure. So I'm going to be reading that, helping me.
I need to read that book. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. He's really been helping me get things tightened up over here. So I think everybody can use a brush up on that stuff. And yeah, if you like our makeup, go to beautycounter.com/Tatiana Moroz and feel free to drop us a line and we'll help you pick out stuff.
Yeah, you can look beautiful and not poison yourself at the same time. It's really, that's what I love about it.
Totally. Yeah. All right, great. Well, thanks everybody. We'll see you all later. And if you're going to Freedom Fest, Tatiana is the coupon code, all caps, for $100 off the ticket price.
Cool. Okay.
All right. Bye, everybody. See you later.